know, I love this music.
It's very relaxing.
I wish there was like a way to just ease out of it. What am I doing? Okay. But there's not. I just gotta abruptly end the music. Sorry, folks. But welcome back to the second episode of AEW Dynamite Boom or Bust, where it is yours truly, the Drip King, Jimmy Baby. And I'm joined for now on, as always, with Nick the Geek to the left of me. No, right of me. I was right the first time.
Right, you were right the first time.
I'm tripping over my words already, but I'm going to get over it. Nick, tell them how the heck you been and how the heck you going to be tonight when we're talking about this show.
I've been fantastic, Jim. I've had a really good week. I haven't slept a lot, but yeah, it's me. I've had a really good week. It's 2 a.m. now. I watched Dynamite a couple of hours ago to make sure it was fresh in the brain. Up and down episode this week. Like some really good stuff. Chris Jericho. Some really good matches. Right? In the case of the main event was good. But it felt a little bit. Hello, Connie. It felt a little bit last minute. Hey, Amanda.
Interesting. So I'll just take it away from him and get to mine. I loved last night's episode of Dynamite.
Oh.
I loved it. While I was watching it, I was definitely getting the sense that a lot of people probably weren't going to like it. I didn't see as much negative discourse as I normally do, but I also wasn't fishing like I normally do either. I just wasn't really on it as much as I normally am today. But I can't wait to talk about it because I did. Yeah. I absolutely loved last night's episode. And just for anybody who's tuning in this week, and this is your first time checking us out in our very short run here, it's our second episode. We are breaking down AEW Dynamite piece by piece, brick by brick, match, segment, everything. We're going to go over every detail of the show. We're not hitting it up with the analytics because we don't do that. We're not going to sit there and give it scores like 7.6 and all other stuff.
No.
Because this isn't gymnastics or ice skating and all other stuff. This is art. It's art. At the end of the day, to me, wrestling is art. You don't go to the Louvre, and you don't go to the Louvre and say, this painting is a 5-star, or this painting gets a 2.5. No, you don't. You look at it, you appreciate it, you explain why you love it, what it says to you, and that's what makes wrestling so fucking awesome. And that's why we're here. We're going to talk to you about it as fans, because there are a lot of podcasters. That's the statement. There's just a lot of them, and a great percentage of them literally try and attack these things with their analytics and all this other stuff. Yeah. That's not what we're here to do. We're trying to give you a little something different. Bring the fan aspect back into the wrestling and talking about wrestling thing, because
at the end of the day, wrestling is supposed to be fun.
Yes.
It is supposed to be fun. It is supposed to make you smile. It is supposed to make you cry. It is supposed to make you feel things.
It's supposed to make you mad.
But
in a good way.
Look at everything.
In a good way.
Yeah. I mean, I'm quite a logical thinking guy, but if you look at everything from a scientific point of view, it ruins art. Art is supposed to feel. It is not supposed to tell.
Yeah. And I had something, and I think I lost it. If it comes back, I'll talk about it. But anyway, let's just jump right into the show, because the show started off with Maxwell Jacob Friedman. And we talked about last week how I was like, man, you didn't like that he wasn't last week. I said I thought it was kind of a cool little the way they did it, because it built anticipation. It gave us a reason to tune in the next week. So you had to wait your extra week. You weren't ready for it. I was. I'll ask you first. How did you enjoy the opening segment?
Max Arene, as I am dubbing him now, was brilliant, as per usual. The man just gets it. It's so refreshing to have him back on AEW television. Like, he makes me grin every single time. The line about Okada being super rich but not being able to afford a gym membership was freaking genius. Trying to have an old dig at Ospreay, and then the crowd went on Ospreay's side, so he turned it back around.
Bro.
Like, the guy is just clever. I love his new look. It's very Triple H / Wolverine, hence Max Arene. I like his new merch, the Wolf of Wrestling, which is cool. Playing Wolf of Wall Street, obviously. But I thought the whole promo was great. One thing that confused me, and it didn't confuse me so much, but I'm surprised that his first feud's Roosh.
Thank you. I'm glad we're going to talk about this because I was with the MJF segment because MJF is money. He's gold. A lot of people were tired of his shtick when he was running. I loved it. I don't like it. He's done anything that I don't like. There's been moments where I kind of was getting a little tired of his shtick, but then he always finds a way to reel me back in. I'm like, I think he's awesome. I love him. He's great. But I like how he did the rundown because, again, it gets people talking. At the end of the day, you got to get people talking. If you're not getting them talking, you're not doing a very good job. And I think nobody in AEW does better at getting people talking, other than Tony Khan, than MJF. Which is why I think Tony Khan.
Tony doesn't intend to get people talking. It just kind of happens.
I don't agree with that. I think he does intend to do it, but that's another discussion. That's for a whole other discussion. I'll say this though. I'm glad you brought up Rush because when I saw Rush come out, and this is no knock on Rush, I don't like this being the first feud for MJF for 3 reasons. Maybe 3, maybe only 2. We'll get there. One, why? Like, why? I know everyone's like, Rush is awesome. And yes, in ring, Rush is awesome. What has Rush been doing since MJF has been gone?
None. This is my point. He's been learning English. All right? Like, Rush is fantastic in the ring. You just said it. He's a phenomenal wrestler. He's always been phenomenal.
Differently, we're not friends.
He is great. He is brutal. He's aggressive. He is a fresh way of presenting a luchador. Always has been. But he has done nothing for 6 months. I haven't seen him on TV. Maybe he's been on Rampage. I don't catch Rampage every week.
While you do this, I'm going to look something up and I'll give us some more information on it.
Bruce hasn't been on TV in months. To turn around and have the whole angle for him wanting to go at MJF is, I've been here working. Where have you been? It's like, have you? I haven't seen you have a match since the Continental Classic qualifiers. Like, it's just, I like Rush. I do. I just don't think he's a good fit for Max's first feud.
Okay, so
sorry, my cat just legged it across the room for no reason.
Get it, cat. So in the year of 2024, he has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches in the year of 2024. His first one was in February, and it was in I don't know what that one is. Sorry, I don't know what it is. I'll just tell you the events. The Crash, in which it was Dralistico and Rush, and they took on La Rebellion, Taurus and Ray. What is it?
CMLL.
Okay. So he did a show in CMLL. Then he did Copa Honor y Gloria, in which he fought Blue Demon Jr., LA Park, and DMT Azul.
I've been to Mexico.
That is a lot. AULL. That's the name of that promotion. This one right here, he did one for it's a freelance show, just wrestling in Mexico, in which I don't even know. It was a 3-on-3, and it doesn't even have his name on it, so I don't even know unless he goes by a different name there. Another CMLL, and then a Lucha Libre Elite, and then his first match for AEW was April 27th on Collision against Martin Stone. Sorry. No. Then he was on AEW Rampage on May 16th, 2024, which he defeated Cody Chun.
More commonly known as Jobber of the Week.
Okay. No. And then he wrestled on Rampage, I guess, last week against Isaiah Cassidy, which is fine. Isaiah Cassidy is a member that we see. That's fine and all that other stuff. But that's all he's done in 2024. So he comes to MJF and says, I've been working. You've been doing nothing. No, you haven't. I don't care what he's been doing outside of AEW because the AEW viewers, I'll just call them the AEW. Watch AEW. And if you're telling me, you're not even giving me any reason to buy into this guy because he's lying to my face. I've been here and I'm like, I've been watching. No, you haven't.
You ain't been doing shit. He's done nothing.
So MJF is coming back to face this guy. We already know how it's going to play out. We know how it's going to end. We just know. And this is, I feel like something a lot of people, a lot of fans have issue with is like, come on, man, give me something a little cooler. Again,
it was weird because you started with the Okada talk, started with the Ospreay talk, started with the Swerve talk.
He gave us the juicy stuff, baby.
These are three things we all want to see. All right, these are three matches we all want to see, and instead you gave us Roosh. No knocking on Roosh.
And again, that's what sucks about it is because they put Roosh in this position to where this is the discourse. It's like, why Roosh? Had Roosh been on TV, and maybe he was injured, some of that, I don't know. I don't know if I'm speaking out of pocket. I apologize. But had he been just stacking up wins, and they don't even got to be big wins. Give me wins like over Isaiah Cassidy. That's fine.
Yeah, and big private party for 3 weeks.
Yeah, and then have him come at MJF. Okay, you have been working. You're a believable in-ring talent. This is a great moment for you. But it's not because it's just forced.
Yeah, and building.
Yeah. The one positive I will say of this is Roosh gets to work with MJF. It doesn't get any better for you in AEW. If you're working with MJF, you're working with the best they have to offer. And hopefully this does something for him. I hope, because he's great. He has intensity for days. He's fantastic in the ring. We've said it millions of times already. But yeah, it was like, I want to be excited, but you didn't give me a reason to be excited. Prove me wrong. You've proved me wrong in the past. Do it again. That's what I'll say.
I hope they do.
So with that, is this a boom or bust segment for you? He can't. He cheated. I'll do the same. I'll do the same. Because it did have some good.
Started great, ended confusing.
Yeah, I'm like, but I want to do this. I will stick here. We'll stick
exactly.
Here. So that's fine. That's fair. Next up, we're gonna tackle all the ones they did of this because I want to kind of find a way to make these shows go by a little quicker. So we'll piece together things that are of the same nature.
Okay.
We both said I'm not even gonna do that either. We got that Roderick Strong promo video. Did you like it?
Yes.
Thank you. It was fantastic. Yes. I'm not even doing the Orange Cassidy thumb. I'm doing full on rock hard thumbs up.
The fact that he just ran the mountain, said all this really like impactful, inspiring stuff, then just got at the top of the mountain and went, Swerve! I'm ready. It's genius. Okay. I love Roddy Strong. Me and my brother were watching it today. I've always loved Roddy since his Ring of Honor days. The guy is so underrated. He's only 40. He's got plenty of time left. All right. This new, I won't call it a new gimmick, but this new layer of personality they found with Roddy is so entertaining. He's so good in the ring that as long as he can carry the promo beforehand, it's banger. Like, it's always good. I love Roderick Strong. I can't stand Matt Taven, as we both know.
Match of the year, Matt Taven, baby.
It wasn't match of the year. It was good, though. I'll give him credit. I'll always give credit where credit is due. That match with Orange was a banger.
It was fantastic.
Right. But he's an evil human being who is a waste of oxygen, and I'd rather he wasn't on planet Earth.
So I'm going to just go ahead. Yeah, like I said, I'm rock hard thumbs up on it because it was fantastic. Here's what I was going to say at the beginning of the show. It came up to me with the Roderick Strong video. He was my inspiration here. Thank you, Roddy. Next Strong, 1,000%. At the end of the day, when we're watching this stuff, the goal is to be entertained. So at the end of it, if I'm entertained, that's a job well done.
Yeah.
That's what I think a lot of people need to realize. There's no reason to break shit down and kind of be like,
no.
Well, I would have liked it.
They did this, but if they did this at this time and they changed it up with a little bit of leverage, and I like doing that kind of stuff from time to time with our guys, but wrestling is base. It's always been base. We're all base human beings. It is essentially men and women solving their problems through violence, through ridiculous storylines and insanity. If you don't smile at a wrestling show, it's not done its job right. If you smile,
or it's just not for you anymore. I know quite a few people like this. it's just not for you anymore. And that's fine because you can go back and watch the old stuff all you want. It's there. We have libraries for it. Go enjoy the old shit. Leave the new fans alone, or the people who are able to appreciate the new stuff. That's what I'm talking about. We got Ronald. What up, Ronald? Thank you for joining, buddy. Thank you for joining, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. We're going over the promo videos from Dynamite last night because they've incorporated this the past 2 weeks. Couldn't have picked a better time to start doing them when we started this show because you and me both love them when they're done in a way that makes sense. And they've been doing that.
Yes.
So Roderick was up first. The next one they had up was I thought it was just a Mercedes Moné hype video. And I was like, of course. But then it went into the Stephanie Vicker. I hope I said that right. I think I did.
I think you did.
I'm learning, everybody. But it ended up taking that turn to where they included her. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. And now guess what happened with that hype video? I actually believe a little bit in Stephanie Vicker. I kind of want to go.
The girl's good.
I want to go watch her other stuff. I'm going to watch what she does in AEW, but just with that hype video alone, it makes me want to go say, okay, what else can she show me?
Well, honestly, the best recommendation I can give you is the previous match with Mercedes.
Oh, the New Japan,
New
Japan Strong.
The New Japan Strong in the tournament for the championship. I think it was the semi-final, one of the semi-finals. Is really fucking good. Like that girl could go. Like there's no other way to put it. She can straight up go. I've never heard her cut a promo, so I can't speak on that side of things. But in ring, she is fantastic. So I'm super excited.
So what do you think about the hype video then?
I thought it was good. I thought Mercedes didn't talk too much, which is an advantage because she's not that good.
Less is more with it. Less is more with Mercedes.
Yes, less is a lot more with Mercedes. I thought the hype video did exactly what it needed to do. It introduced Stephanie to the audience. It showed a lot of highlights of Stephanie's career, which people needed to see because, like yourself and myself, I've only seen a couple of matches. A lot of people will have not seen anything from Stephanie McCall. But I'm excited. I think that video package did exactly what it needed to do. It made me go, oh, okay. This could be interesting.
It was so good, I'm willing to say right now that it's the best thing that Mercedes Moné has been a part of outside of her matches since she joined AEW.
Agreed.
It was a great video. And
sorry, we have a visitor.
He's welcome. He's welcome anytime.
Hey, kitty. Say hi, Max.
So this is another double thumbs up then, clearly. Yes?
Yeah, completely.
Yes, for sure. Okay, and then the last hype video, which might honestly have been my favorite of the night, was Daniel Garcia's.
Oh.
Because I have been waiting for Daniel Garcia to get something that he could sink his teeth into and really blossom. The dance was enough to kind of get him over, but I still don't have a reason to get behind him. And this the video did it.
Dude,
it was amazing.
Emotion, the film, it's a really nerdy thing to pick up on. But the cinematography they used, the filters on the lenses, was so well done, especially for the shots when he was in hospital. Because the camera work,
he was telling me.
And they were.
Oh no, he disappeared.
Which was, I'm back.
Yeah,
you disappeared for a second then. They were highlighting the injured parts of his body with different colors on the filters from the car crash, which is clever. It's really clever because it makes people's eyes get drawn to little bits on the screen. It makes you notice things more.
Of course, he just cares about the cat.
Hello. He's back. Say hi. Say hi. Hi. There he is.
Oh, good. Okay. Matching the tone. Just the cinematography and the shots and the colors and all that stuff. Matching the tone allows you to speak to you so much more. It allows you to kind of not just hear it, but kind of feel it.
You felt the emotion that they were trying to portray, and that's hard to do. But when it's done right, it's done right. Danny's promo that went along with it was really heartfelt and emotional, but he didn't get overly emotional, which I appreciated because it still showed that I'm a hard man. It's like I'm a tough guy. I don't get too emotional, but I'm going to tell you the truth now. This is me speaking from the heart. And then when he went into the Ospreay stuff, it was like, oh, okay, they're really giving this direction. I mean, it kind of ruins something else we're going to talk about in the next 7 minutes because there ain't nobody taking that belt off. Well, it doesn't ruin it, but there ain't nobody taking that belt off Will Ospreay till possibly Danny Garcia now. I think Danny's going to be Will's first big program for the international title, like the one that they promote and put the machine behind. And I love Danny Garcia. I think he's probably the only person who fell into the Jericho vortex at that point in history that did well because of it.
I don't want to say he did well. I just want to say it didn't kill him.
Yeah, that's a good
way to put it. He came out the other end slightly better.
Yes, again, he didn't come out. He didn't come out all
works for him.
Guns blazing, but the dancing gimmick works. It's shown some of his personality. What are you doing, guys? Sorry, this.
I think he wants to give AEW Dynamite last night a thumbs up as well, but he ain't got no thumbs. Silly ass cat.
Nah, don't know that cat has thumbs. I'm telling you, he opens things. I don't know how he does it, but he opens things. At the moment, he's trying to hit my headphone case all over the floor. So, no, but anyway, I thought it was really good. Danny needs this.
Yes,
like you can't just dump him in a match with Will Ospreay in a feud in a program without any back history to the guy.
It'd be a great match, but
it'd be a good match. But
I would not believe Garcia has a chance.
No, there'd be no reason to care. This promo package did you a very good job of showing that he's a fighter, that he doesn't let anything keep him down, that he returned from that god-awful injury and he loves this business. Yes. And he will break his ass to get somewhere in this business. And I appreciate that.
And now I believe, it's a very small belief, but it's there. I believe he has a chance to take it off Will Ospreay. I wouldn't bet money on it, but if it happens,
behind me, in wrestling you have many opponents, but one opponent you toughest is yourself, and that is absolutely true. Because unless you can find a way to connect to the audience via your own personality, then you're just going to be a match guy for the rest of your life.
And you don't want to be a match guy for the rest of your life.
No. And I think up to this point, Danny Garcia has been mostly a match guy, which in AEW for a certain amount of time works because it's the wrestling show. But this, I don't know the best way to put it. This kind of opened him up.
Yeah,
if you get what I mean, it made people.
It made here.
Me. Yeah, without shadow of a doubt. And it did for me anyway. It made me sit there and pay attention because I was on the phone before the promo started, and then I kind of just hung up on my mate because it's like, I gotta go.
Back.
No, it was really good. I really like Danny Garcia. I'm a big fan anyway, but this really helped solidify him, I think.
Yeah, we're both getting out. So all 3 video packages got 2 thumbs up from us. They're all booms, baby. The Dynamite went boom on those promos. I'm so glad they started using them. I know there's people out there that hate it. Get over it, man.
Why? It's professional wrestling. It is better with promo packages. It has always been better with promo packages. Otherwise, how are you supposed to know who these people are? One thing a lot of fans don't understand is that every single week on a professional wrestling show, maybe not AEW, but there are new people watching. You have to assume that there are new people watching your show. Those new people don't know who half these people are.
Nope.
So you have to do your best to introduce these people to the new audience. And the best way to do that, promos.
I tune in. I see Chris Jericho because I used to watch wrestling. I'm like, oh, what's Chris Jericho doing? So I watch it. And then you go right into a hype video of someone like Daniel Garcia, and you give me that kind of realness, that kind of gritty. And I'm like, oh, I like this guy. I want to check him out. And that's how you encourage me to continue to watch or tune in another time. But we've got the hype videos. We'll move on to the next part because this next one's probably going to take up quite a bit of time. I'm going to count them down here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 segments for the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho,
hey guys,
Redwood, Big Bill, and the Bad Apple, Brian Keith. Now, I'll break down each segment and then we'll give our reviews on what we like, what we don't like about it. He starts off, he shows up outside. He's like, and he's got the new cadence to his voice. He's got a higher voice, but it sounds well.
And it also sounds condescending.
Who's been in front of the camera for 30 years, I could probably teach you a thing. It's great. So it did that, not in the parking lot. The bad apple, I'll get to it. But then he goes and he interrupts 2.0.
Rules.
Thank you very much. Matt Menard, and then here Courtney says she didn't like it. She didn't like how he treated Matt Menard and Angel Parker. That's the point. You're supposed to be like,
you're supposed to hate it. You're supposed to hate him.
But it was great. It was great TV to me. Awesome. It was great TV. Then he did the food segment, which is probably, if we're going to rate these segments, this was probably the least of the four.
Yeah, it was the least impactful.
You could have cut it and I would have cared. I wasn't missing anything. Yeah. And then it ended with him going up to private parties saying, you know, guys, you should probably open your party to a public party. That way more people could come in and enjoy. It's great. And it set up a feud with Private Party, which is great because we talk about the tag team division and Private Party always kind of getting overshadowed. I know Homeboy was injured for a while, but he's not. So it's like Private Party should be involved. They're talented. They have a great gimmick. They're fun. And now Chris Jericho is kind of getting them involved. So I'm not going to be mad about that. So 4 segments. It probably totaled 5 minutes in all because they weren't long. So there's no reason to get all up in arms. If you didn't like it, it didn't waste too much of your time. But last week we said, I think we're really liking this. Now we've gone another week. Has your ideology on it changed?
No, it's genius.
So you're not on the cusp anymore.
No, I'm fully with him. I'm fully with him. Chris Jericho has taken all of the spite, the negativity, the hatred, and the general abuse that he gets online, and he's turned it into a character. Now, if all of the wrestlers were capable of doing this, the business would be better for it. I said to you last week, you've got to let Jericho cook. You can't just expect him to come up with a new gimmick and then go, oh, it's not great in the first week, get rid of it, bye-bye. Let him cook. And he's cooking. Like you say, he's got the new cadence to his voice. He's got the condescending tone. He's got that, hey guys, how you doing? Hi guys. The fact that he's full on going into this gimmick. Even Big Cass, the Redwood himself, is full on going into this gimmick. Is like the what's the word I'm looking for? The something speaker, like an inspirational speaker.
Yes. Okay, so I wanted to touch on this real quick. I think what makes this whole thing work. It's going to sound crazy. I think Brian Keith being added to it is what makes this work because you have Chris Jericho acting like an idiot. You have Big Bill acting like he's copying the idiot and he sounds like an even bigger idiot. And then you have Brian Keith coming in being the hater. And he's
no respect.
What do you tell Matt Menard? He goes, you better have that baby grow up to respect Chris Jericho. What? I love it.
Great.
I'm so happy for Brian Keith because I've loved the dude since I've seen him. He has the thing. He'll never be a man.
I watched Brian Keith on a GCW show 3 years ago. It was the first time I saw him. Great. And he's so good. I mean, and also, he's legit. He broke what's-his-face's jaw.
No, he's a badass. I believe him in the ring, and he's entertaining. He's clearly entertaining because I feel like he's what's making this whole thing work now. The 3 different dynamics they have is just great.
Well, it works. It's a jigsaw puzzle that's put together perfectly. All right. I get why Chris Jericho gets a lot of hate online.
I do.
Because these days, sorry fans, no one's got any fucking patience. Pardon my language. Everybody wants everything. In the generation we live in now with social media, YouTube, the internet, everybody wants everything. Instantaneous gratification.
Go ahead, continue. Which one are you talking about, Courtney?
It reminds me, everyone wants instant gratification. Yeah, is the best way I can put it. And they're not willing to wait and see, just to see how things go. And in professional wrestling, you have to wait and see. It's not instant the matches are the instant gratification side of professional wrestling. The storytelling takes time.
Character development takes time. That's what it's called.
Exactly.
Development.
Right? There's like people don't watch NXT and turn around and go, these guys aren't having 5-star matches every week. It's because it's the developmental brand.
Tiffany Stratton sucked at first, and now she doesn't suck because she developed. So that's what happened with characters.
Trick Williams was nothing but a manager. Now he's the NXT champion.
Flash Legend. There's plenty of them.
Exactly.
They got to develop. So do characters. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. That's the perfect point to make. But Chris Jericho has taken venom, vile, and vitriol that has been fired against him and gone, I've got an idea. I'm going to take all that they're saying about me, and I'm going to turn it up to 50.
Huh?
I'm going to turn the volume all the way up to drive people absolutely insane and make myself the most hated version of me that I can possibly be. Okay. You mean the list, Courtney?
Yeah, the list. I'll tell you what it reminds me of. It reminds me of something that Chris Jericho would have done in WCW.
Exactly.
And anybody who's listened to me say anything about Chris Jericho knows my favorite version of Chris Jericho
is WCW Chris Jericho.
Because he just did the stupidest thing, dumbest, whatever. I don't care.
The Goldberg, the non-existent Goldberg feud. The non-existent Goldberg feud.
Hilarious.
Brilliant when he got lost. just got lost trying to find his way into the arena.
Security
the entire night.
That's what
stuff with Juventud Guerrero when he stole his mask and then he couldn't get the mask on. So he just, the first couple of weeks, wore it on top of his head and then just put it around his neck.
Because he had the hair. Yeah. Stinko, the man of 1,004 holds. That's reminds me of.
It's brilliant. Chris Jericho has reinvented himself time and time and time again, which is very hard to do in professional wrestling and stay relevant. And I think this is great. Like, people who complain, why Jericho on TV so much? Because he's the biggest name in the company from a public standpoint, from a mass fan base standpoint, as in the casual fans know who Chris Jericho is. So you have the face on TV because, as you said just before, I know who Chris Jericho is. I wonder what he's doing. It's the same thing. You have him on TV every week because he's a draw. It doesn't matter if you hate him or not. A lot of these people don't realize you're supposed to hate him. Like, he's literally crap.
You want to see him get punched in the face.
Completely. Like, everybody, whoever gets to take down the learning tree is going to get a massive push. Because it's probably going to be Hook. I would assume it's going to be Hook.
I'll say this, though. The one thing I want to happen with the learning tree is I don't want it to overstay its welcome. Like the Pinnacle. Not the Pinnacle. He wasn't even part of the Pinnacle. That's the problem.
The Inner Circle.
The Inner Circle, and then what was the one before? He was in two of them, wasn't he?
Inner Circle and the Jericho Appreciation Society.
There you go. And they overstayed their welcome.
Yeah. I
don't want this to do the same because then I'm going to jump on the other side of this and be like, yeah, the fans are right. He needs to be off TV because I'm getting tired of him. So hopefully this isn't something that lasts too long. But if he's able to keep coming up with things on a week-to-week basis to keep it fresh and creative and not completely bury people, I'm all for it, especially if it stays as entertaining as it was this past week. Because I was dying. I was just laughing. Brian, keep it up, buddy, because you awesome, bro.
No,
you awesome.
It's great. Awesome. Like,
that's crazy. Wow. Crazy.
Thumbs up.
Double thumbs up. We'll hit. I'll start doing over in order at this point. We've already skipped a few of these, so if you just joined us and you're like, well, you missed some things, you're gonna have to go back and watch the beginning because I did skip over some things. Now we're gonna go in order based on what we haven't touched on yet. First up, Ray Phoenix versus Orange Cassidy versus Jay Lethal versus Kyle O'Reilly in a number one contender match for the international title. Real quick, what do you think about the match?
It was shit. It was the worst match, the worst four-way AEW put on. Jay Lethal should have won. The whole match was structured around Jay, and then they had him lose to a roll-up where his shoulder wasn't even down. Now, I don't know if that was a dig or what happened. Yeah, I know, but Phoenix is terrible. No. Phoenix was great. Phoenix was great in Lucha Underground. And when he was Dark Phoenix and he was drooling all over the place. Because he does great, incredible things in the ring. But he's not a good wrestler.
Boo-ha.
No. Hear me out.
Boo-ha.
He is a great spot guy. He is fantastic at flying. He is a luchador.
That's all it is, man.
So was Conan. So was Juventud Guerrero. So was Psychosis. They could all tell stories in their matches. And so is his brother. Penta.
Penta?
Exactly. That's how I feel about Phoenix.
Penta's boo-boo because he doesn't sell for shit.
No, he doesn't. But Phoenix doesn't let people sell.
Good. Whoop their ass, buddy.
No, because he doesn't whoop their ass. It's like he'll hit a move, then he'll run off and hit another move, then he'll hit another move, then he'll hit another move. But nothing is leading to anything. There's no point doing a move unless that move is leading to something in a match. And nothing Phoenix does leads to anything. In this match, he was the fourth wheel that hit some spots, stayed in the corner, while O'Reilly and Jay Lethal did all the work, and Orange did what Orange does, which is great. All right. And then Phoenix won.
Okay. So here's what I'll say. When we're talking about luchadors, I throw the whole storytelling thing out the window because when I grew up watching WCW, one of the things that brought me to it was the luchador wrestling, and it literally was just chaos. It was just not 100 miles an hour, boom, 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 boom. I loved it. So when luchadors do it now, I'm just kind of like, yeah, this kind of takes me back to the old days. I don't really care too much about it. If it makes me a hypocrite, so be it. I don't care. I'll admit it. It's fine with me. That's how I view luchador wrestling. And when I went and saw actual luchador wrestling in Mexico last year, that's kind of what they were doing. There was no real story being told. They were just kind of having fun, hitting moves, flying all over the place, and it was a blast. But what I don't like about this match is, one, I knew who was going to take the pin as soon as he came out. And then two, I knew who was going to win as soon as he came out. And my son, he was like, oh, Jay Lethal should win this. And I said, I'm so proud of you because I agree. He should win this. But I hate to break it.
He's getting pinned.
He's not going to win this. He's going to lose to Rey Fenix. And he goes, why? I said, Orange Cassidy lost. He's not getting the international title back. That's not happening.
Kyle O'Reilly just lost the title match.
Wrestled for it. And Jay Lethal wasn't getting a title match like that. It's just not going to happen. He's just used there to put people over. So Rey Fenix made the most sense.
And realistically, Tony Khan's trying to get the most aerial assassin out of Will Ospreay that he possibly can. And Phoenix is probably the best guy to have the flippy dippy doodah match with Will. My argument behind that is that's not who Will Ospreay is anymore.
Shouldn't be either. If you want to preserve him as long as you can, you get him away from that as much as you can.
He hasn't been doing he hasn't been doing all the flippy dippy doodahs for about 2 years now. He's become a much more yeah, exactly. He's become a much more physical, grounded wrestler, right? That's a lot more aggressive and shows violence, and his promo game's really picked up. Phoenix is not the best opponent, in my opinion, for Will Ospreay. I understand why Tony Khan has picked this, but Jay Lethal is a much better opponent for Will Ospreay. Styles make matchups. Jay has gone.
I'll say the reason Rey Fenix is getting the match is, one, it's going to be a fun match.
Oh, it'll be fun.
I'm not here to knock on it. It's going to be a fun match. Just because I don't like this one doesn't mean I'm not going to like the next one.
Exactly.
But I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to give Will, he's trying to showcase Will in every kind of match he can before he puts the title on him. Just so the few people who aren't that familiar with him, I don't know how many of the people who are watching AEW aren't that familiar with him at this point, but I imagine there's still a few who haven't seen
I reckon so.
A massive bunch of his library. They've seen what AEW has given them and maybe a few other things. But
the unfortunate thing about Will is unless you follow the British indie scene or you watch a lot of New Japan, you haven't seen what he's capable of.
I'm sure people like even Tidy has gone and seen some of his stuff, even though Tidy is strictly WWE, and he loves it.
I mean, everybody has seen the Ricochet match.
Yeah. So I think that's the idea here is get him in there with Rey Fenix and showcase what he can do aerial wise and that kind of thing. That way you literally look at him as like the perfect wrestler. There's no match he can't go into, and there's the possibility that he's better at you at it than you are. And I think that's the idea here. And hey, if it is, kudos to him. And if it's not, and I'm just a madman who came up with this theory because I'm a madman, kudos to me. Kudos to somebody here, though, because I do think that's what it is. And I think that's a cool idea. But sorry, you can, if you had anything else to add to the match.
No, it's cool. I like 4 ways to have a clear structure to them. Maybe it's because I'm an old school WCW fan and an ECW fan, and they invented the multi-man matches. But something felt off. I couldn't put my finger on it. I was watching it. I said it to my brother when we were watching it. I was like, this isn't clicking. Like, Orange seemed out of place, which is really weird because he's fit like a glove with everybody in AEW. But in this match, he felt like he was out of place. Roster. Yeah, he felt out of place in this because realistically he was there so they could do the Trent spot afterwards. And the Statlander spot afterwards, which was okay. That was fine because you need to advance that storyline. Statlander and Willow need to advance their storyline, so that made sense. But the match itself didn't do it for me. Right. So and you know me. Didn't like the result, didn't like the match.
Yeah, I'm the same. I enjoyed watching the match. I don't want to say I enjoyed watching the match. I didn't have a problem with the match. It was there. It was fine, but I wasn't invested. Like, if I would have got a phone call, I would have stepped outside and took it. I wouldn't have been like, sorry, I got to go. Like, if the Swerve match was on, I'd be like, call you back. But with this, I'd have been like, yeah, what you want to talk about? Because it just wasn't catching me.
I didn't.
Just gave it a thumbs down. So then we'll go into the Trent stuff. Trent, Don Callis came out. Then Chris Statlander and Stokely came out. And I'll go ahead and give you your props this week. I told you if he wasn't funny this week, I'd let you hear it. He was pretty funny this week. But he wasn't funny enough. He's still on sketchy ground. I'll hit you back next. Statlander, I think she punched him. I don't think she slapped him.
She did. She punched him.
Then Willow came out and made the save. And then after that, Willow had a backstage interview where she started talking about Stokely and Statlander and how she's amped up and she's ready to take them out. And then Orange Cassidy comes. They do the thing like that. So we know it's coming. We're going to get a mixed gender tag match, probably at Forbidden Door, between that whole the Trent, Willow, and Orange Cassidy. And I'll say this, I don't mind it because I love Orange Cassidy, I love Statlander, I love Willow, and I love Trent. I think he's one of those my boy in the world. But if Trent does not pick up a win here, this is all pointless, and I don't care anymore.
This is the thing. In professional wrestling, if you turn somebody heel, they have to win. Otherwise, what was the point? You threw away who you were. You turned your back on everything you believed in, and then you lost.
So with that, I think we just touched on it, and there's not a whole lot because they just kind of set up for something later on. Based on what we saw in the segment and the interview thing afterwards, where are you at? You gave a thumbs up. Okay, I'm in the middle with it because
No, I didn't think there was.
I like all parties involved. I really do.
So do I, and I think it did exactly what it needed to do.
I just have this feeling that they're going to do exactly what they've been doing, and that's just have Orange Cassidy go over. And it's like,
it's a bad move. I would be fine if Statlander gets the pin in the match over Willow.
Nope. It's got to be
Trent. It's got to be Trent. No. If Trent is beating the holy piss out of Orange on the outside, and that's why Statlander gets the win, I'm fine with it.
Again, prove me wrong. That's what I'll say. Prove me wrong, everybody. Happens all the time. So, and I'll eat my words if I'm wrong. Next up, this is the one that I saw a bunch of people complaining about. Christopher Daniels has come down, or as I like to call him, Adam Pearce, and decided to say we're having a qualifying match right now. It wasn't advertised. Thank you. I like things happening spur of the moment.
It's a surprise.
Realism to the show. You can't contain these people, so things are going to happen.
Spontaneity.
It's for the TNT ladder match. Takeshita already qualified. He did so on Collision or Rampage. Okay. And then this week, we're going to get Mark Briscoe versus Brian Cage. Whoever wins gets added to the ladder match. Mark Briscoe got the win here. So I'm not going to ask you so much about the match as I am going to ask you about the winner. Did you like the winner?
Yes. But pointless.
Thank you.
Now, why put the Ring of Honor champion?
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Match? Why put the Ring of Honor champion in the TNT title match? Brian Cage is right there. Brian Cage is great. Brian Cage is a big hoss that can do a lot of damage in a ladder match, and he came into the company in a ladder match. Remember the casino ladder match where he ripped it in half on the stage?
And you just had him break free of Swerve, and he's out on his own. what better way to solidify himself is not some same old jobber than to have him get into this ladder? At the very least, get into it.
No, instead, he lost to the least impactful elbow drop in professional wrestling.
People's elbow is way less impactful than that, man.
No, it's not, because the people's elbow has the people behind it.
No, it doesn't. Nobody believes in Rock anymore.
Well, it used to have the people behind it. Now it has the corporation behind it, and it has corporate power behind it, and it has the weight of the Rock's ego more than anything else.
Okay,
but
now
the froggy bow.
You're right.
The froggy bow is a terrible move.
It's fun.
It's a stupid name.
It's Mark Briscoe.
I know it's Mark Briscoe, and you know what Mark Briscoe is? God love him.
If someone was like, "Hey, check out this move," who would you give it to? Mark Briscoe would be at the top of that list. It just fits him.
Okay.
So,
but to me, Mark Briscoe will always be one thing. He'll be a tag wrestler.
No.
Mark Briscoe's matches ain't good. Right?
I'm sorry. Gosh.
I'm sorry. But I always loved the Briscoe brothers. Like, they were my favorite tag team for years. I always had. And as soon as they went their separate ways and started doing single stuff, it was so obvious that Jay was going to be the guy out of the two of them. And it's sad to me that the only reason Mark is in the position he is in is because his brother passed away. It's a horrible thing to say, but it's the truth. He would not be Ring of Honor champion now if Jay was still around.
I do want to say this. I'm not saying you're wrong, but he also does have the crowd behind him.
Oh, yeah. No, that's fine. Everyone loves him.
This is something I don't think AEW has done in the past, where they got behind someone who wasn't one of their guys and they let rise to the top. The perfect example, I know you hate it, is Luchasaurus before COVID hit was over like Rover with that crowd.
This is true.
And they did nothing with him. And it was like, why? Oh, he's not part of the clique, but that's for another time. I won't get into it. So, but they're doing that with Mark Briscoe. And whether the reason for it is this or that, I don't really care. It is what it is. If he's over, he should be getting pushed. That's how wrestling has always been working.
I completely agree, but
I don't like that he was in this match. But if he's going to be in it, he has to win it. Because if he would have lost, you've just said your Ring of Honor World Champion ain't shit.
Yeah, but they didn't even introduce him as the Ring of Honor World Champion. He carried the belt in the ring, and Justin Roberts just went, Mark Briscoe.
It's so weird. I was want to give him props too, because they hadn't put any Ring of Honor people on the show recently, other than Taven and
Bennett.
Which they kind of have to, because he's part of that
group. Kingdom
no longer fucking exists, I guess. I don't know, but they are part
of
the.
They still exist. They're just not doing anything with it.
It's part of the.
Did you hear last week? Nigel McGuinness called them the Undisputed Era, then corrected himself.
It's not the Undisputed Era, man. Oh my goodness, that's the worst thing he's ever done. But so we agree that Mark Briscoe shouldn't have won them. He shouldn't have been in the match.
Agreed.
But he was in it, so he should have won it.
He had to win.
It was just a bad. It was hey, Tony Khan's the matchmaker. This wasn't a match that he should have made.
No, this should have been Brian Cage and
anybody else. Isaiah Cassidy, since we just talked about him in Roosh.
Isaiah Cassidy, Mark Quinn, like anyone. Like, they've got like 1 billion people on the AEW roster, and he's like, "No, I'm going to use Mark Briscoe."
So what are you giving this segment as a whole? You going down? I'm going this because I like the Christopher Daniels stuff, but then they did the match, and I'm like, and the match wasn't bad. I didn't hate the match at all.
No, it wasn't a bad match.
Yeah,
Mark Briscoe has never had a bad match, but he's never had a great match.
That's fair. That's fine. That's fine. There's plenty of people like that. Next up. Oh, and then Jack Perry cut a promo afterwards, TNT champion, because that's who's going to be TNT champion. If it's not, I will riot. God, I'm a CM Punk fan saying that shit. What's going on with me? Then we got the Hook and Samoa Joe interview when they get interrupted by Smart Mark, Tony Nese, and was it Daivari?
Daivari.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I didn't care.
No.
I'm sorry.
Because where the hell I'm assuming Ring of Honor, that'd be my assumption, is where they've been.
Let's find
where
out.
The hell has the Truth Commission, or whatever the fuck they're called, actually been
Cage
on
match.
TV? All right, like, what have they been doing?
I'll tell you what they've been doing. Tony Nese has had 5 matches this year. Tony Nese defeats Marcus Cross. Don't know who that is. The varsity athletes. That's what they're calling themselves. Ari Daivari and Tony Nese are the varsity athletes.
Oh, yeah. They stole the varsity part from the varsity blondes, didn't they?
They defeated Chocolate City. Premier Athletes took on Adam Priest. I almost said Damian Priest. Adam Priest, Brett Titus, and Tony Deppen. Tony
Deppen. That's unfortunate for Tony Deppen.
They defeated
Tony Deppen, by the way. If you've not seen Tony Deppen, he's the most brilliant dickhead in professional wrestling. Like, he's permanently an ass.
And then they lost a 4-way to Action Andretti, Lee Johnson, and Top Flight while teaming up with Cole Carter and Griff Garrison. Man, that's a crazy combination there. So he had 5 matches this year, and now he's stepping up to Hook and Samoa Joe. So for that, I'm sorry. If you want me to buy into the Samoa Joe Hook thing, you got to give me a reason. Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty would have fit in here way better.
Perfectly. Absolutely perfectly, because you got big angry guy, and then you got little technical guy versus little technical guy.
Yeah.
And it's just, no.
Friday Night Dynamite. Yeah, Friday Night Dynamite. So, yeah, exactly. They've been losing. That's what. And as a fan, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, why would I believe they're going to step up to Samoa Joe, who is literally just AEW World Champion, and Hook, who is supposed to be one of your up-and-coming people? Doesn't make sense. So, yeah.
I like the Hook Joe relationship. I think it's good. I like the idea that Joe's like, no, I told you a million times. We handle stuff on our time, not on theirs. I think that's a good angle. And I think having Hook with Joe is good because the next best thing to Taz is Samoa Joe. Has been for years. Joe basically has Taz's character from ECW and has had for 20 years. And he does
much more believable than Taz's was.
Oh,
not sorry.
Dude, in ECW, Taz was believable. Not in WWE. In ECW, original ECW, Taz was very believable. Because he was the first guy that did the mixed martial arts suplex machine routine.
He's great. Again, not knocking him. I just, if you give me a person who acts like Taz, and I see Taz and I see Samoa Joe, sorry, Taz, I don't believe anything you're doing, buddy.
There is a height difference, but Taz had short man syndrome.
Size difference in general. And again, I like a bunch of short people. I'm just saying, if you're comparing the two, Samoa Joe clears them all day, every day.
Oh, yeah. Always
Taz
has done.
Great Hall of Fame career.
No, awesome. Always has done. But my point is, Joe is Taz. Yeah. It's the same character. It's just done Joe's way.
So we both say thumbs down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then we got the Acclaim coming out, cutting their rap. And then in the background, you start to hear the Young Bucks go, yo, go home. We're not having this. It's cut. Get out of here. And they're mad. Now, I want to love that. I do like it. This would have worked so much better had they not cut the legs out from under the Acclaim when they were their hottest. They're just not that hot anymore, so it's not as impactful. I hope they can get there again, and I think the Young Bucks is probably the people that could get them there again.
Yeah.
But man, just thinking if they did this 8 months ago.
9, 10 months, even. Jesus Christ, when the entire crowd was singing "Oh Sesame Daddy," it would have been so good. I mean, the Bucks are fantastic at playing dickheads.
Yes,
they're brilliant pricks. They're absolutely brilliant pricks. The Acclaimed are starting to get traction again. They're starting to, but the worst thing they ever did from the Acclaim was put the trios belts on them.
Yes. Well,
those trios belts
should did is take the titles off of them, the tag titles.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'd agree. To put them on FTR, so they can do it, Young Bucks FTR at Wembley.
They didn't take them on. FTR didn't
they put them on the Guns.
The Guns, who I love. Didn't make sense at the time, though. But
no. Short
segment, short time. We're not going to give it a bunch. Did you like it?
Kind of. So
I'm giving it a thumbs up because I like that the tag teams are starting to kind of come back because tag team wrestling has been missing from AEW, at least the variety of it. And now we're getting Young Bucks and Acclaimed. We're getting The Learning
Jericho's
Tree
crew
party.
versus
so like
party. This is all
good. That's what I want to see. So I'm giving it a thumbs up. He's giving it a because he is a hard ass right now.
Yes.
We get a Swerve promo. Swerve promo in which he ends it with calling MJF a little bitch. So they're clearly sorry, I dropped something. They're clearly leading towards that at some point down the road.
I hope so.
I'm not going to talk so much about the segment because it was a Swerve promo. I think we both probably enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Do you think we get to a Swerve MJF feud over the title?
Well, you see, I'm going to wait till we cover something else to answer that question.
Okay.
Okay.
So the segment, do you like the promo? Yes.
Yeah, it was good. Swerve promo.
Swerve. Okay.
Great promo.
Okay. And then we go to, I don't want to give this any time at all. I'm sorry. I know I just talked about how much I love Luchador Wrestling, but BCC versus Team CMML, I did not care. Sorry, I just didn't care.
This was where I took a phone call.
I wish I did. I really, truly wish I did because what was his name? Volador Jr. I like
the guy with the green mask.
I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
I don't know.
3 of them came out wearing
I don't think Volador had a mask. I don't think he did. I think
he's the guy without the mask.
Okay.
The real ugly guy. The guy who should be wearing a mask.
The guy that we're talking about that didn't have the mask is the one I enjoyed. But he was
great in the ring. He's just an ugly human being. That man is hideous and should keep his face under a mask.
Dr. Death Steve Williams was hideous too, and he was awesome, bro. Get out of here, man.
Yeah, but Dr. Death Steve Williams is mean. Mean people are supposed to be.
Was awesome, man. I think I would enjoy watching more of his matches, honestly. I did enjoy it.
My problem with this match was you have the BCC has one problem with it, and it's big. It's 6'6", and it's from Switzerland, and it's the most boring wrestler in the world.
Get out of here, bro. He's not more boring than Will Utah.
Yeah, he is. He speaks 5 languages, and he's boring in every single one.
Bruv.
Don't bruv me.
Will Utah is mad, and he's telling you about it right now.
No. Man. But you know what the difference is? Wheeler's been wrestling on the main circuit for like 6 years. Claudio has been wrestling on the main circuit for 26 years.
And when that bell rings, Claudio's amazing, man.
No, when that bell rings, Claudio is good. All right? He's always been good. All right? He is boring. There is not, right? This is not just coming from me. This is coming from Andy, my brother Andy, my friend Scott, my friend Mike. We all have the same, maybe it's a British thing, but we all have the same opinion on Claudio. He is boring in 5 languages. How can you speak 5 languages and be boring in every single one? All right? He doesn't fit the BCC. He's never fit the BCC. Daniel Bryan is a stiff little shit with a real angry side that likes to kick people's heads in. John Moxley is the American version of Itsushi Onita. Wheeler Yuta is an angry little shit who is finding his feet within the BCC. Claudio
Nobody
has never
believes
fit.
him.
No one believes Claudio either. Claudio's got one thing. Claudio's got one thing. He couldn't get over as a Paul Heyman guy, Jimmy.
Hey, he's not the only one.
No, who's the others besides DiBiase Jr.?
Okay, there was...
He couldn't fight his way out of a paper bag.
What's his name? Kurt Hennig's kid.
Oh, Christ, I forgot about him.
Ryback.
Thingy McGillicuddy. Ryback doesn't count.
He does.
Ryback was never a Paul Heyman guy. He was a Paul Heyman guy because of the Punk feud.
No, he was.
All right. I'm sorry.
And no. I don't want to hear this. Okay, let me ask you this question. Man, we're gonna spiral out of this real quick, but just real quick, just tell me real quick. Brock Lesnar, does Brock Lesnar achieve? Does Brock Lesnar get to main event level without Paul Heyman?
No.
You don't think so?
No. Because Brock couldn't cut a promo for 10 years.
Yeah, but
it doesn't matter how much of a beast you are in the ring. It doesn't matter how much of a beast you are in the ring without the machine behind you. Goldberg's the perfect example. Goldberg had the whole machine of WCW behind him, and that's why he got to where he was. without the machine behind
Brock.
it. No, they put Paul Heyman behind Brock and went to see where it went.
But
then when Paul Heyman got him over, they went, okay, we're going to push.
They brought him in. They destroyed everybody. He won King of the Ring. He beat The Rock. He beat Kurt Angle at Wrestle. They put the machine behind him.
Yeah, but who was at the head of the machine?
He helped. Brock was going to get there.
I don't think he'd get where he got without Paul.
Curtis Axel, that was the name. Oh my goodness, he was bad.
Yeah, he was awful.
CM Punk, Paul Heyman guy. Yeah, he didn't need Paul Heyman.
No, he didn't need Paul Heyman, but he added to the product.
Who else is a Paul Heyman person? There's got to be more. Look, Paul Heyman's great. I'm not saying he's not great. He's the second greatest manager of all time. 1,000%. I just don't think because you didn't get over with him that just I don't.
No.
Ryback didn't get over with Paul Heyman.
What's the most over thing about Claudia?
The swing.
Correct.
Okay. What's the most over thing about Goldberg?
The spear.
Okay. What's the most over thing about DDP?
The diamond cutter.
That's all that matters, man.
No. You missed. No. Do you know what the difference is? Not a finisher. Yeah, he beat Chris Jericho with it. But that's literally all he got. His European uppercuts suck.
Oh my goodness. We're moving on. We're moving on. So if you give it a thumbs down. I knew that was coming. That's fine because I did too. I didn't care about the match.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
match sucked.
Volador Jr. If this name's wrong, I'm sorry, but I did dig what he was doing. The Acclaimed then confronted the Bucks, and then the Bucks end up talking to Patriarchy. I do like the Bucks working with the Patriarchy because heels should work with heels. Babyfaces
I agree.
Babyfaces, that's how it works. So the segment gets a thumbs up. That's all I'm going to do for it because we got to move on to the more important things. And more important things, I mean, Saraya versus Mariah May. Did you like the match?
Yes.
Thank you. Did you like the finish?
Yes.
And did you like the aftermath?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I'll say this before I let you go off on it in a good way. Let me get this right. Mina Shirakawa.
Correct.
I think that they've done the best work with her out of any other talent that they've ever brought in for Forbidden Door, save maybe no. As far as someone who's never been part of the promotion before and they're building up towards something, they've never done better than they have done with Mina Shirakawa. And all the credit in the world goes to Mariah May, who probably is my favorite female wrestler in AEW right now. This might be the match I look forward to the most at Forbidden Door.
It's the one I'm looking forward to the most.
Toni Storm is amazing. There's a story revolved around it that's been playing out before our very eyes for quite some time.
And where's Mariah May going to go?
Yes. So
that's the question.
I want to ask if you noticed something. Did you notice anything special or different about Mariah May?
Yeah, she was wearing Tony's Outcast gear.
Okay, do you have any idea of the significance that could be playing, or do you think it was just mind games on Saraya?
No, I think the whole point was that Mariah's becoming the outcast in the group.
You think that's what it is?
I think Mariah's going to be outcast from Tony because she's been the super fan. Go on, let you cook.
Let me cook for you, baby. Okay, so the idea is that it's based on the movie, all about whatever the person's name is in the movie. But in this one, it's all about Mariah. Mariah went from being the fan to then being Toni Storm, the first iteration of Toni Storm. She has now graduated into the outcast. She's now the second phase of Toni Storm, which means when she's done with this one, she becomes the star. And when she becomes the star, what is Toni going to do?
She's going to break down.
So I fully believe she's joining Toni, or she's going to help Toni Storm here. I do. I think that's going to surprise some people because they would expect Mina. That way it forces the dissension between the two. Yeah. But I think her going with Toni plays more into the story because she's still fascinated with Toni Storm. She wants to be Toni Storm. And she hasn't fully become her yet. She just took the next step.
Slightly different way in the match. I'm going to use Paul Heyman as an example. Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns. I can't remember. Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. I can't remember which match it was because there were fucking lots of them. All right. But Paul gets a steel chair. Sorry, the world title. and he slides the belt right in between Brock and Roman.
You could have said Dom, Liv, and Becky.
That also would have worked. That would have worked, and that's more recency bias.
And it's better.
So we'll go with that one. Dom slides the chair in perfectly in between Liv and Becky. So you didn't know who he was throwing it to. You didn't know which side he was going on. I think that's what Mariah May is going to do. And then she's going to celebrate with the winner. Regardless who, which is going to be Tony. All right. She's going to celebrate with the winner.
Real quick, again, wouldn't surprise me if that's the way to do it, but I think that one has been done. I like to try and go different. And I think it would be really cool if Mariah was maybe helping Mina up, and then she looks over and sees Tony's disgust. And that triggers her to do something to Mina to help Tony win. Again, to keep the Tony-Mariah thing intact, because it needs to play out longer, in my opinion.
Yeah, it does.
I think it does. Because, again, it's not old yet. It's still very fun. It's still very... I enjoy it.
It's brilliant.
It's literally the best thing AEW is doing, hands down.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to milk it, just like Dave did the Bloodline. I don't give a shit. Milk it, baby.
Milk it for as long as you can.
And, again, all the credit in the world, because it is the best job they've done with an outside performer, bringing them in. So this is getting... I'd give it 2 thumbs up on the board if I could, but I can't. I can only do 1, so we both agree it's getting 2 thumbs up.
Completely.
Anyway. And now
also, I'd just like to point out Tony Storm deliberately falling over when she took her shoes off.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
She's great. And for the people saying Saraya shouldn't have won, first off, yes, she should have. She's a former champion, and she should be winning. 2, that submission move, realistically, if she puts it on you, you're screwed. You can't
what are you
do
gonna
it.
do? What are you going to do? The Widowmaker. You're screwed. You're off the ground. You can't get to the ropes. There's no leverage. There's nothing else. You just got
3. Mariah needed the sympathy afterwards, so she had to lose to get there. It all made sense. If you thought otherwise, we're not friends. That's what I'm going to refer to these things
You're
as.
dumb. I'm going to say it worse. If you thought otherwise, you're thick and should reintroduce your brain to a bit of education.
This one might take a minute. I don't want to spend too much on it because we are over 5 minutes tops on this one. Bryan Danielson promo. He spends the first minute putting over Wheeler, Utah. Shut up, Bryan Danielson. I don't care. Then he goes on to talk about how his last year has been disappointing, even though he wanted it to be guns a-blazing out in okay. So then he announces himself to enter the Owen Hart tournament, in which the winner will get a world championship match at All In.
And this is where I shall address your swerve question.
Do you think Bryan Danielson is going to win?
No. I think the final is going to be Bryan versus MJF, and MJF's going to win.
You think they're going to have Swerve and MJF in the main event at All In?
Yep.
You think so? Okay, I jumped ahead of myself. You think Swerve's going to beat Will Ospreay at
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, it's too soon. It's way too soon. All right, 1, Will hasn't lost a match yet.
Yeah.
Okay. So the perfect person for Will to lose a match to, which doesn't hurt him in any way, shape, or form, is the world heavyweight champion.
Does he pin him clean? 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
I like your style. Back to Bryan Danielson. So we don't go off the rails here. So you don't think Bryan Danielson wins the Owen Hart tournament?
No, I think MJF wins the Owen Hart.
Do you think him winning the Owen Hart tournament would mean something to Bryan Danielson?
Yes.
So don't you think Tony would want to... Here you go, Bryan. Appreciate you.
Winning the Continental Classic would have meant something to Bryan Danielson.
I think this would be more.
I think this would be more because it's for Owen.
Yeah. And again, yeah. Because when we talk about dream matches, no one ever brings up his Owen Hart versus Bryan Danielson. That would be amazing.
It'd be amazing. I will say this, though. Bryan has one fatal flaw. He's got no ambition. Bryan's had no ambition. No. Bryan hasn't had any ambition in 6 years. Bryan has one ambition: to make professional wrestling better.
So he does have ambition. His ambition is similar to Razor Ramon /
He has no selfish ambition. Let me put it that way.
He's a selfless wrestler.
It's selfless ambition.
He's the Miz.
What is more selfless than promoting yourself all the way through this tournament, making it look like you're going to do it, and then putting your shoulders to the mat for your company's guy? That's the most Bryan thing you could do. is you go through the whole tournament, you go through hell and high water, you fight, you make it to the final, and then Max beats you clean the second time. And then Brian starts to hang on, hear me out. Let me cook.
I'm not disappointed. Right? I'm just
Brian starts to doubt himself. He's got 3 months left. What's he gonna do?
Nothing.
Huh? What pay-per-view did Brian debut at?
All in. No. The full gear. Out. No, full gear.
You sure it wasn't all out?
It was all out. All out's 2 weeks after all in.
Not anymore, it's not.
It is.
No. Apparently it's gonna be 3 weeks.
That's Crown Jewel. That's Crown Jewel money.
No. But here's the thing: Max can win the belt. Well, Max doesn't have to win the belt at Wembley. Swerve can retain. Because you see, my original thoughts on Wembley was you have Will Ospreay win the Owen Hart tournament, and then you have the biggest hometown guy possible in the main event for All In Wembley, which would be Will going after Swerve for the title. But they're not doing that. They've pushed it early to go to Forbidden Door.
Stupid.
As we've just said, stupid, very stupid. Brian is selfless. There is nothing more Brian Danielson than losing because he wants to help somebody. And nothing is going to get MJF back over with the fans more as far as he can't wrestle than having him beat Brian frickin' Danielson. Brian can then go into a spiral of doubt and confusion, which will then lead, hear me out, to winning the belt he always wanted. It's not the AEW title. It's currently being held by Jon Moxley. Brian's going to end this year as the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, and he's then going to drop it at Wrestle Kingdom, probably to Tetsuya Naito.
I would say he drops it to Zack Sabre Jr. because they have to have their third match.
Oh, that'd be better. And
of course, it's better. I said it. Damn it. I don't even like Zack Sabre Jr. I know everyone else.
How do you not like Zack Sabre Jr.?
He's boring to me. I know he's great. I'm not saying he sucks. He's just not my style.
Please,
he's not my guy.
Please elaborate. So
No.
You just chewed me out for saying Claudio's boring in 5 languages. And now you're telling me the most innovative technical wrestler of the last 30 years is boring.
And you know who else was boring? Dean Malenko. He's great. Boring. That's all.
Okay.
This isn't me saying anything bad about Zack Sabre.
How much of Zack have you seen?
I've seen about 4 or 5 matches. I haven't seen enough.
Yeah, okay. How much of his personality have you seen?
I have not seen anything, honestly.
Watch his after-match promos if you get a chance.
I'll give him a chance.
Because the guy is very clever.
I think he has a cool suaveness to him. Yes. What I have heard. He seems like he's pretty suave. Just when I'm watching his matches, it's just kind of like feel like I'm watching Return of the King all over again, man. It's like, what's going on? So Brian Danielson promo. What are you giving it? Okay,
Brian, it's good.
Boom.
Brian, good promo.
For Wheeler, Utah. After Wheeler, Utah got the pinfall, and then he joined the Owen Hart tournament. And I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it. That's all. I just wasn't feeling it. I think the tournament would be fun. I think it'd be fun, especially when you stack it with big names. You should. We saw what happened with King of the Ring this year. They stacked it with big names, and we all got loved it.
It was great.
But now we'll move to the main events, which should be the main event because it's freaking Swerve Strickland.
Finally.
And it's one of the best endings. I don't care what anyone says. I saw someone else say it, and I'm like, I'm glad I wasn't the only one thinking this. It was one of the best endings we've had on Dynamite in forever because it ended with your guy standing tall, victorious, no afterbirth, aftermath, whatever we're going to call it, after the match where someone got beat down or they stretched some shit out. They just let him bask in his own glory. Yes, that's a Keith Lee pun intended. And we got to just soak it in. Like, that's our guy after a really good match with Roderick Strong, who doesn't have bad matches. So you already know what I'm saying. That's what I had to say about it. I'm giving it 2 thumbs up like I did the other segment. But Nick, what did you think? Break it down, baby.
Okay, so the match itself was a classic Roddy Strong match. There was a lot of swerve thrown in there, but it was a classic Roddy match. Fast-paced, technical, deliberately targeting the back. Generally, Roddy being the dick that he is, trying to hurt you. While Swerve was doing Swervenomics, as I'm now going to call it from now on. Swerve is such a different wrestler. Like, that term gets thrown around a lot. But Swerve Strickland in ring is so different to everyone else on that roster. Even little things, like the way he gets into a suplex.
It's brilliant. Hey, did you hear the story about how that came about?
No.
He literally came up with that on the fly in the ring one day. The first time we saw it happen, he came up with it 5 seconds before we did it. That's insane to me.
That's crazy. I mean, Swerve Strickland is the perfect world champion for this point in AEW. He's exactly what they needed. I said to you ages ago, I thought Joe's run was too long, and realistically, Joe's a 10-minute man now, and they were trying to get him to have 25-minute matches on a weekly basis, and it didn't work because he was gassed, he got blown up, they slowed down, and I love Joe. Joe's just not that guy anymore. All right? Swerve, on the other hand, you can put in the ring for 70 minutes. You said it, Simon even said it today. Swerve versus Hangman Page will go down in history along with Bret Hart versus Stone Cold.
Yeah. Like I was comparing it to the Rock and Hogan. If AEW had their version of Rock and Hogan, again, I'm not saying they are Rock and Hogan, but if they had their version,
it's their versions of it. It's the parallel. It's a parallel of them. I mean, Hangman's got like 3 fans, which is about right.
He's got 4 now. I like Hangman now.
He's got 4 fans.
I'm a Punk fan.
Anyway,
what's wrong with me, man?
Back to the main event. This was great. It did exactly what it needed to do. It's the first time since Swerve won the title that they actually presented him the way they should be presenting their World Heavyweight Champion in the main event on a weekly basis, carrying your show as the flagship of your company. And in AEW's case, putting on banger matches, which is what Swerve does. I thought the grill was a little bit... I don't get grills. Like, I'm super white.
It's him, though.
Oh, yeah, it's super him.
It's him.
Like,
I showed my son a picture of it. I showed the Drip Prince a picture of it earlier in the day. And when Swerve came out, he was sitting there like, oh, I want to see that grill. He was waiting for it. It's cool. It fits Swerve. It's what makes Swerve. And that's why he's your guy.
It works perfectly. Roddy was the perfect opponent for him. Probably should have wrestled him about 3 weeks ago at this point. Roddy was the perfect opponent for him. He always has been the perfect opponent for a lot of guys in Swerve's position because Roddy gets the best out of whoever he gets in the ring with. Swerve's finish, the house call, is the smartest finisher anyone has come up with in 10 years. What are the 2 things that are important about a finishing move in professional wrestling?
They need to be quick and they need to be impactful.
3 things.
And then you come out of nowhere.
4 things.
You got me. I don't know.
You have to be able to do it to everybody.
Okay, you got to do it to anybody. Yeah.
Right? There is no point a guy who is 5'8" and 205 pounds using a powerbomb as a finisher because you put him in the ring with a guy who's 7 foot tall. He can't do that move.
Yeah,
it's dumb.
I do like it though because it does make you get creative.
It does. But if you want to be remembered, and we just said it before, DDP. What was DDP before the Diamond Cutter? Right?
Bang. He was always DDP, but he wasn't shit.
Before the Diamond Cutter, he sucked.
You gave him the diamond studs, bro.
Exactly. He got the Diamond Cutter, and the whole game changed. That house, when Swerve was just using the stomp, I was like, another guy using the set. He does it well because I like the way he comes off the shoulders and lands and stuff like that. It's good. It's safe.
He does a good job of setting it up because there is an unbelievable part of it where it's like, why are they
because they have to be sat up in the corner.
Sometimes he does set it up very nicely though, and I'm like, that works. I'm good with it.
But the moment he started using the house call as his finish, I was 100% sold because 1, it looks really good. It looks impactful as hell. It can come out of nowhere, as you say.
He can do it anywhere too. He can do it on the outside
from anywhere.
Yeah.
He can do it off the apron. He can do it off the ropes. He can do it anywhere. And he can do it to everybody. And that is the important thing. And it's just cool.
Yeah.
It's a cool finisher. And Swerve's a cool guy.
It's Swerve.
All right? It fits him perfectly. The way he dresses fits him perfectly. My brother went crazy when he saw him in that fur coat.
Yeah.
That's amazing. He looks so cool because that's the point. He's cool. His music is cool. Even Prince Nana is becoming cool.
The best manager in the game today.
Yes, right. I said this last year on our end of year awards over on the Wrestling Legion channel, and I got chewed out. Because they were like, it's Paul Heyman. I was like, no, it's not. It's Nana. Nana gets how to get his man over.
And not only that, during the matches, when it's getting a little dead, Prince Nana starts screaming at the crowd, whose house? To get them back into it, get them, get them behind the guy. Like, it's great. He does very little things, but the little things he does is perfect.
Matter.
And makes him stand out. Like, he doesn't get lost behind the fact that Swerve is so good and so awesome and so cool and all that other stuff. Prince still stands on his own. So,
yes,
best manager in the game today. I'm sorry, Paul. Agreed. This is true.
No, it's true. It's true. Paul Heyman's not a manager anymore. He's a wise man.
He's more of a he's a character, part of a storyline at this point.
Yes. Yeah, he's not just Roman's manager anymore. He's part of the bloodline. He's part of the story. Nana's just a manager, and he's really fucking good at it.
Yeah. He's way better than Stokely is. Gotcha. So the match, we're doing thumbs up. The ending of the show, fucking big thumbs up. Thank you, AEW. Again, this was a fantastic episode of Dynamite. I was expecting to get shit on, and again, I didn't see too much of that. So that's good news. That's good news. So I did the tallying up, thumbs up. We got 19 total. Thumbs sideways, we got 4. Thumbs down, we got 8. That means this show was a big boom. Big boom. And that's what I like to hear. So with that said, wait, I'm going to introduce something. We're going to start doing a question of the week that pertains to AEW individually. I'll do one week. You'll do one the next week. I'll put it up on Twitter. We'll do a poll. We'll get everyone's opinions on it of those who will actually participate.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Next week. Since, again, I'm just bringing this on you this week, I got the question for this week. Think about it. Come back with me next week. I want to know, with everybody who's on AEW's roster, who's the one individual that you wish was being featured on AEW television on a weekly basis?
I don't even need a week.
But we're going to wait a week. We're going to do it next week. That way I have more answers.
That's fine.
I'm sure my answer's
I got it
as well. But if it's someone that's just there once a month, they're included. If they were there this week, but they haven't been there for the 3 weeks prior, they're included in this. I want to know the people who are getting not used that everyone wants to see used more often.
I think there's one real obvious answer to this. So
it's a question for next week. And again, if you know me, you know my answer is very, very easy to figure out. So with that, Nick,
I already think I know who it is because I think it's the same guy I got. So
Nick, the floor is yours. Let them know where they can find you and what they need to know.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you like what I do here, if you enjoy listening to me talk, you can find me over on the Wrestling Legion YouTube channel with my buddies Kasai and Andy. We do podcasts every week. I do fantasy booking shows with my champ, the king over here, once a month. Called Wrestling With Your Thoughts. It's loads of fun. On Sunday this week, you can find me with the captain and Matty Laws doing a double episode of Takeover the Table. It's a watch-along where we go back over NXT takeovers and watch the best and worst matches from each takeover. And believe it or not, it's really hard to find the worst matches from a takeover.
Yeah, you got to go to the fucking NXT 2.0 era, man.
Yeah, right. When you're doing takeovers, it's like, oh, this match is great. This match is great. This match is, damn it. So you've got to go. Which was the least great? And then you pick that one. And unfortunately, they're all Baron Corbin matches. Who would have known?
I mean, he don't fit in with that era, but I get it.
That's what it was. But you can find me over on the Wrestling Legion YouTube channel. I am there consistently. You can find me on Twitter at Wrestling With Your Thoughts, Nick, or at Wrestling Legion. Yeah, that's great. And always remember, we are but 2 geeks obsessed with a good show. And our opinion means nothing without yours in the comments below.
You heard the man. I'll go ahead and say this. Go watch Slam Sessions on YouTube. That's my buddy Albert's show. If you're into the action figure game, he's the Matt Cardona of the Drip King of Wrestling.
He is the Matt Cardona of Wrestling YouTube.
I have my own learning tree. And Albert is a part of that learning tree. He is
Albert's a branch
of it. So go check the Slam sessions out. He has a bunch of content, and he does put it out pretty consistently. So you got a lot to
all
watch.
The time. That guy's toy room is insane.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I don't even show mine off anymore because I'm like, yeah, it's not fair. But again, Wrestling Legion, like he told you, go check that out. I co-signed for not only Nick, but Andy and Cy as well. Love them to death. Met them the last 2 WrestleManias, so they're my people. If you like me, you should like them as well. Go check them out. Podcast, that's Positively Awesome Wrestling Podcast. I think we might be bringing one up. I miss talking to the boys. It's been a few weeks since I brought it up, and I've kind of got some things going on. I haven't had time. I think I'm going to make it happen. We're just going to talk about what we've loved since last time.
Awesome.
Hopefully I can do that this Sunday. I don't know 100%, but I will keep everybody up to date with that. That is coming, though. It definitely is coming because I know they're missing it. I'm missing talking to them. And yeah, we have the family that's been actually asking about it too. We got a bunch of guests. They're like, when are you doing it again? So we're going to hit it up. We're going to try it again. Just one though for now. We're not doing it yet. I'm still working some stuff out. But other than that, next week we'll be right here again. An hour earlier. We had to do an hour later. I had some stuff up, but Nick was very gracious and
doesn't sleep.
The extra hour. So next week we'll be back at 7:00 right here, and hopefully we're able to talk about another amazing episode of Dynamite like we did this week.
I've got a good feeling about next week's episode.
Oh yeah. We have Will Ospreay versus Ray Phoenix, which I'm geeked out for already. I'm looking forward to it. But until then, see you next time. Much appreciated, and don't forget to just enjoy wrestling. Goodbye, folks, and don't forget to watch Take Over the Table this